1, 2,
3. The trick to coming off well on television is to be yourself. Or then again, maybe not.
Hello and welcome to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. I am your host, Davnito, the master of the magnetic arts.
Lead us! Lead us! Lead us! Lead us! Lead us!
Oh, no. Hosting this show is fine for me. Thank you. Thank you. And with me, as always, is my co-host.
Famous, rich, and human looking.
I mean,
Mary André.
I mean, one of those things is accurate.
Famous? Trudeau's most famous, you might say.
I am now.
Mary André. What's Mary André?
Marianne is one of the mutants that's hanging around in the background, and that's worshiping Magneto.
Deep cut.
Yep, it sounded the most like Andre. What are you doing, Cat? Jesus.
All right, fair enough. And we have a special guest.
Mariana is the
with us
character.
tonight.
Sorry, she's the little green Morlock, the one from the Christmas one.
Oh, her.
Yeah,
I know her.
remember our favorite Christmas episode?
Oh, yeah.
The best. And that was the voice of our special guest here tonight.
A mutant ringleader! And I revealed him!
Mutant ringleader. Daniel Blanchard.
Guy is just right off the rails in this episode again.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Oh, God, he's crazy on this. Yes, I love it.
He's ridiculously insane.
Top tier ex-goon. Thanks for joining us, Daniel.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. This is such a pleasure. I've been so excited. I mean, I would like to say that you guys invited me, but I feel like I talked you into having me here instead. Am I not?
Well, probably Davan.
That did happen,
Yeah.
but I was going to invite you anyway. So you just beat me to the punch.
Probably Davan more than me because he usually looks after that stuff. But I'm always happy to talk X-Men with cool people and obviously supporters of the show. So I'm happy you're here, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So did you just came from a con, didn't you? Or
So yeah,
you met
I was
Cal.
no. So this is hysterical. So
And not so much Matt as peered at him through the bushes.
No, you're close to that. So I was at Comic-Con in New York, and I saw this jacket walking from distance. I'm like, I know that jacket, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's Cal Dodd. And he walked by. I'm like, oh my God, you're Cal Dodd. And his response was, yeah, and just kept walking by. I'm like, I was like, I didn't realize he was signing there, or I would have, lined up for whatever. But I was like, okay, so I kind of had a conversation with Cal Dodd.
Well, I think by the stringent definitions of what a conversation is, that seems to check the boxes. You spoke, he responded in turn to what you said. Whether it's short or not doesn't really stop it from being accurate.
Right, and then I told Davan, I'm like, Lenore Zan is here too. I'm like, but I haven't found her, and I did not find her, unfortunately, because I would have loved to have just said hi to her because she's fabulous.
She's very sweet. I'm sure she would have been very happy to chat with you.
She would have. She would have made your day.
No.
This was the opening segment of.
Well, let's catch up on old times.
What you think they're doing up there?
What are they up to? I always forget about that.
What do you think they doing down there in New York, other than crime? We just heard the cops go by.
Oh my
Let's
goodness.
not play into every stereotype about New York.
That's true.
He's got just crime. He's eating a hot dog,
a pretzel.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I mean, there's lots.
Have you ever said, "I'm walking here"?
No, I would say how you doing, like Joey from the Friends show.
Okay,
right? But I mean that's very no, I don't do that. Come on,
that's
please.
stereotypical New York. Come on,
stereotypical Italian, but kind of works for the New Yorkers too.
Yeah, not a ton going on here in New York. Comic-Con was huge. There's so many people there. I even copped out on Saturday and Sunday because there's just so many people, and the crowds are just massive. But I can do Thursdays and do my shopping and get my toys and my comics, and Fridays same thing. But yeah, I saw Ewan McGregor on Thursday.
Oh, awesome.
And that was interesting. He's found a good. I'm gonna talk a little shit crap right now.
No,
and
don't worry, this is an X-rated show.
Yeah, it is an X-rated show. For the first 20 or 30 minutes, he talked about how he liked his coffee and tea and like a little bit of bagels, but besides that, he didn't talk about that much. So I actually ended up leaving. Ewan McGregor is gonna like see me on the street and throw something at me next time.
He's a huge supporter of this show, so
I know. Yeah, he's always logging on to the show. So.
Yeah, that's right. He's constantly commenting and haggling us to be on it. We're like, "You're Star Wars. This is X-Men. We can't have you."
You've never been on X-Men.
Be in an X-Men movie.
Leave us alone, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, geez.
How dare you, Ewan? How dare you, Ewan? But yeah, so so it was good. I had a good con, honestly. It was like I did everything I wanted to do in terms of like shopping and catching up with friends and gossiping about X-Men and what's going on in the future and the past and all that good stuff. So yeah, I had a good time here in New York at Comic-Con. So yeah, it was great.
Are you a native New Yorker, or are you just there for the con?
No, I live here. I've been here for 15 years now. I moved here after graduate school and knew that this is where I always wanted to be, and I felt it would be where my type of person would be accepted, and yeah, great. So I'm glad to be here for those 15 years.
Where was home originally?
It was in Massachusetts. Shout out to my mom, because I think she's listening. She's 71. Mom, maybe you're 72. I don't know, but yeah. So
hi, Daniel's mom.
Yeah.
Hi, Miss Blanchard.
Yeah, Mrs. Blanchard, that's her. So yeah, but I moved here 15 years ago, and now I live here. I started my own business, and yeah, here I am, just being a comic cool geek and enjoying it. So yeah,
you're in the right place, and we're fans of Massachusetts. Anybody in the East Coast is good. New York is still East Coast, I guess. So it's, but just a little.
It's all the same jet stream we share.
That's right.
You're right. I mean.
I always find that fundamentally funny when people don't understand what the weather is like here in Nova Scotia. They're like, I'm like, it's the same as New York. Have you been to New York? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, it's the same. Like, it's exactly
blows in from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Can I share a couple of tidbits with you guys on how I know you? So I started off listening to you guys because Eric and Julia Leewald, the previous.
They're great.
They're awesome. Oh yeah, excellent.
So the first podcast I heard from them was with you guys, and I'm like, oh, these guys are hysterical. So then I started following you guys, and more recently, and Davan, I know you know this, you sent me something, and my husband was like, who is Davan Skelhorn? And like, what is he sending to you? And Davan, do you remember what I told you he said to me? Who is this guy sending you X-rated stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Who's the guy sending you X-rated stuff?
I'm like, this guy from Canada is sending me X-rated stuff, and this is going awesome. So I'm cracking up. And then my most recent memory of you, André, is when you came at me for Jubilees. Let me see my notes. Jubilees Fairy Tale Theater. When I posted the GIF of Michael Jackson eating the popcorn. That was like, I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this. And you were like, who is this guy commenting on with this GIF? And this is not that bad. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, André is going to kill me. I thought it was hysterical. But anyways, you guys make my commutes during the weekdays on the subway to wherever I have to go. So I thank you guys, and I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, that's very sweet. So Davan, finally, after 5 seasons of the show, I finally feel like somebody's listening to it. So that's really good. I think that we finally got into got into a place of acceptance, and
Daniel's our target audience.
Oh, good. I think we hit her mark. Then I'm very happy. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm not a curmudgeon. For sure. I mean, the episode was not that episode particularly wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't like the worst thing in the history of the world either, I guess. But,
Sam wants to know if we'll do a series retrospective.
It's not a bad idea, I suppose. I mean, as a fan, I suppose we should have asked the previous guy too, Adam, right?
Yeah, the other ex-Gooten?
Yeah, that we had in the show. Ryan. Sorry, Ryan, if you're listening, I'm sure you were.
He is.
For some reason, Adam was stuck in my head. Yeah, I mean, obviously, hearing from the people that listen to the show and what they enjoy about it, and and that they enjoy it is always nice and good to hear. So, obviously, Daniel, you have to pick who your favorite host is. I assume it's me, but I just need clarifications.
It's the guy with the beard.
Okay,
whose beard did you pick in the beard contest?
No, you guys know who beard I. It was I think it was Black Tom Cassidy.
It was Black Tom.
He scares the shit out of me. I'm sorry. He's just so weird when he's creeping into small people's bodies. Well, you've read the normal stuff like that's going on right now, like where he goes. His
powers are super cool, and he talks to plants like me. I love Black Tom.
Yeah. So his beard is.
And, Irish people are just generally disturbing anyway. So I'm kidding.
You hear that, Ewan McGregor? We've had enough. No, he's not Irish.
He's Scottish. He's Scottish.
McGregor's Scottish.
But
yeah.
I mean, according to my DNA, I'm very Irish. So I mean, I'm okay to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so the Irish League doesn't come running after me.
All the Irish jokes.
They're coming for you.
That's right. They're coming. It's like there's a knock at the door. I'm like, hello. They're like,
it's the ghost of Whitey Bulger.
Yeah, that's right. All the Boston area mafia folk are going to come for me.
Yeah.
It's like there's a knock at the door and I'm like, who is it? And it's like, it's the pizza man. Like just in an Irish accent. Like, are you Irish? No.
Oh crap.
Fiddly potatoes.
Potatoes.
You guys talk amongst yourself for a minute. I forgot to load up our handy slideshow.
Well, Davan didn't ask me what's going on in my life.
Yeah, what's going on?
I was gonna ask you what it's like to be Toronto's most famous man.
I'm just one of Toronto's most famous. There are it's 5 people get the thing every year, so or this year. So yes, I got they made this beautiful little thing. This is Toronto, my name on it. So it's nice. I forgot the accent, but I'll forgive them for it.
So did they just retire Lenore from that category?
I think once you win it once, you can't get it again. She actually beat me 1 year for it when I was up for it as well. So I was very bitter, and I've never really let go. No, I'm just kidding. But
it was very apparent in our interview with her. You were
I was so angry. Just saying fuck you. Not at all.
I don't even like joking about that.
No, she's lovely. It was fun. That was cool. I won that just before I left to go to Vancouver. I was in BC for 10 days. I just got back Sunday, so still a little jet lagged and still trying to catch up with everything that was left behind when I was gone. It was a ton of fun and get to see some more of our beautiful country. I was hoping to hang out. You've never
been out there before, have you?
Nope. I was hoping to visit Adrian Huff when I was there, but he had a filming thing, so I was unable to do that. But I did go to Victoria, which was near Nanaimo and near-ish, and it was fun. Really good. Really
Same
good trip.
island.
Yes, just way further down. But fun trip. I got to do a lot of cool touristy stuff. Went to a lot of museums and aquariums and saw a Shaky Graves concert that was just happening when I was there. It was cool. It was really cool. I had a really good time.
You're not missing much in Nanaimo. At least I had interesting things happen in Nanaimo.
Oh, really? Did you eat a bar?
No, I was sitting out in front of the hostel or whatever I was staying at, and this naked woman jumps out of a truck. And I guess she had a coat on, but then she flashed me and goes, "Give me a smoke. It's my birthday."
And did you give her a smoke?
No.
What? It was her birthday. You cold bastard.
I was a poor hitchhiker at the time.
You're a callous man, sir.
I know.
So how long were you a smoker, Davan?
I don't think I was even smoking at that point. I smoked for 2 years. She just assumed I had a smoke. She didn't see evidence.
In her defense, you do look like a guy that probably smokes.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's the yellow. It's the leathery skin and the yellow teeth. I'm kidding.
Ouch! Oh my gosh!
No, Davan.
Previously on X-Men.
Davan's a handsome man. I met him in real life recently again, and he is a handsome man. I'll tell you that much.
Did you?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Well, a couple months ago now, but.
Oh yeah.
You're taller than I remember. Because how tall are you, Davan?
Like 6 feet.
I'm 6'2". I thought you were much shorter than me, but not by much.
No, not by too much. I'm a tall 6 feet.
All right. A tall 6 feet.
Anyway, that's how the last episode ended.
Once again, has absolutely zero to do with this episode. Completely and utterly. The only similar character is a descendant. Oh, no, I guess we did see Charles very briefly at the end of that episode. So there's that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Do you ever get the feeling in the show as we begin to walk through it that some things never really changed, Evan? That after 5 years of bigotry towards mutants and people in the streets with signs and the Human League and not the Human League, that's the band. What are they called? The Human No. Or the Friends of Humanity.
The Friends of Humanity.
I was going to say the Human Liberation League. I don't know what the hell that is. But...
The FOH, the foe, if you will.
Yes. Very, I guess that kind of works. It would have been better if they picked an E. Friends of Evolution.
Well, they have FOH on their armbands.
It's like Friends of Humanity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Friends of Humanity.
They're like it's kind of weird. If you are humanity, it's weird to have I'm a friend of humanity,
it's like a white supremacist group calling themselves the Friends of White People.
Yeah, you already obviously like white people and think that they're better, which is why you hate your stupid backwards club. I always thought that one was weird. Friends of
Humanity. Oh yeah, this is season 5, episode 10. The final our final episode of this particular series.
It is a bittersweet day.
It is written by James Krieg, who I think is a new writer for the series.
Wow, what a thing! Hey, come on the show and write the very last episode of it.
Yeah, seriously.
He just dropped a bunch of VHS. This is the 90s, so they dropped a bunch of VHS tapes at his door. It's like, Cram, you got 5 seasons to watch. Go. None of them are rewound. So here we are once again with a big group of, jerk humans picketing outside of yet another, I don't know how many court hearings the X-Men have gone to. It's been a lot. There's been a lot of state hearings that the X-Men have been in attendance of. And also,
you just go back to where you came from. Where is that?
Yeah, I know.
That's what I want to know.
There were a couple of things in this episode that made me laugh that were kind of dumb.
Go back into the womb?
Yeah. It's so stupidly backwards. That one's even dumber.
That one's no British mutants. No, that's not the British flag.
I mean, as a graphic designer, they should have made the no mutants white. It just would have blended more with what they got going on there. It's a good contrast to the red. But anyway, the idea of this whole go back from whence you came sort of mentality is even dumb. It's at its utmost, the height of its stupidity when it's applied to mutants, because they're just born wherever they're born as mutants. It's like they're born in Mutania and then they just escape and go or get shipped off to other countries. But anyway, we see a reporter who looks suspiciously like April O'Neil, covering what's going on at the hearings. They're covering all this stuff with mutants attacking humans. And we see Henry Gygrick, whose appearance has changed slightly. I was going to make it an X point, but I guess I have enough of them. For some reason, his hair is now black, and he doesn't wear glasses anymore. I'm guessing he sprung for LASIK, and got some just for men. But
let's hear from old
Gygrick.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled by bleeding heart mutant appeasers. We are at war.
Wasn't the last time we saw him with the Master Mold? When did we see him since then?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was stuck on an island with Trask, right?
That was the Master.
No, and then Master Mold came and got them. Yeah, that's right.
That wasn't Genosha.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Genosha. I don't know what island they were on.
No, that was the last time we saw him.
Like us. They don't want rights. They want to destroy us.
The last time we saw him was when he was stranded on Genosha with Master Mold and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, he's back.
Well, it's
been better than ever.
Could Charles Xavier be a stinking mutant himself?
One thing so I guess just to run through what's happening, because we're getting all these clips, is that there's something going on where it's unclear as to why they called this hearing, just to let Gygrick yell, I guess, at the TV. Which is what he's doing about how mutants are, trouble, blah, 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 showing clips of various things out of context in which mutants were attacking things, but usually it was because the government or other people were attacking them. But Xavier's there just in his floating chair on television, which I think is always kind of funny. Nobody asked any questions. They're like, you have a floating chair.
By the way, where did you get this?
Yeah, and they're also like, why don't we use this for other people that aren't able to use their legs? Why are you the only one who gets this cool?
Why are you
he's rich.
Why are you so stinking?
Yeah.
Charles?
Yeah.
Like, why are you so stinking?
But
You
he's
can
like,
smell the mutant on you,
I can
Charles.
smell it.
but why is it so Geiger pulls out some device. First he posits to everyone that Charles Xavier's a friend of mutants, and nobody's ever asked could he be mutant himself, which I think is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, how could the world not assume he either is, or has people close to him that are. He like has a team called the X-Men that appear and fight other people on his behalf.
Oh no,
They're
the
all
public
mutants.
doesn't know that though. Like in public, he's never seen with the X-Men, even on this show.
Well,
They always maintain that disconnect. If they can.
Beast and him have been clearly seen.
Well, him and
many
Beast.
times.
But
And
Beast is also like a public figure.
Yes, but he was also imprisoned for breaking into a facility with the X-Men. But he was the one that was captured for a whole season. He was in jail.
That's true.
And also, like, often during these hearings, Sabretooth or someone busts in and starts messing people up, and then Cyclops and Wolverine and a bunch of other people jump out in costume and start fighting him. Like, what I think anybody with half a brain could probably put together that there's some connection between the X-Men and Xavier.
MZ, new Patreon member, MZ. Thanks, MZ.
Yeah, it's
a revelation.
I guess it's never been overtly said that he has been, but I feel like it's been heavily implied after all these episodes, because I feel like there's something that happened anyway.
MZ likes the retrospective idea, and maybe even an awards for best episodes, best lines, best fights, etc.
That's actually an exceptional idea. Thank you, MZ.
Yeah, we did that once in the Mary Mater Marvel Society, and I think we can translate that over here.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We should totally do that. So he pulls out some device which he uses on Charles to show that he's a mutant, making Charles's telekinetic powers sort of amplify, and then he can't turn them off. So it's kind of also vague on what's happening to everybody around here. They all just seem to be in a mild amount of pain. They get over it really quickly. But Charles is rendered
psychic feedback.
I guess so. But Charles is rendered pretty much almost on death's door immediately.
Look at this body.
Yeah. Look at Wolverine's feet. They're like the size of his. They're bigger than his head. They're bigger than like 4 Cyclops heads. Like, look how big his feet are. So
look at the treads on those boots too. Like, he's ready for the snow.
Look how he
just came from Canada again.
Charles's neck is bent at a very strange angle. It's like his whole like there's like no support.
Well, he's dead. They broke his neck.
There's no support at all. Like, he's just sagging in the center and just being held by like under the knees and under the neck. That's it.
Like, he's just Gene. He just looks like Gene. Like, they're all like, Gene. Look, put Gene in here. No, put Charles in here. Like,
yeah. I like Cyclops' bowling shirt as well. This is a nice.
He does look like he's bowling.
And also, he switched chests with Beast or something. Beast was like, "Take my chest."
I'm gonna wear this Ben Grimm Raphael disguise every time we go outside. It's like they should like. He looks like Raphael from Ninja Turtles 1. He's just wandering around in like a hat and a trench coat, and that's enough to hide the fact that he has a shell and his skin's green and he has got 3 fingers and all these other things. But anyway, Wolverine says it's too late. In the well positioned ad break, Wolverine says it's too late. He's gone.
Normal-looking people who defend mutants are mutants themselves.
I want to see a future episode of the show with like a just a group of all of the most maniacally insane people that have been in the show. So like
it's him, like he's number one.
I mean,
who else lost their shit that time? Someone really lost their shit that time.
Cameron Hodge.
Cortez.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Cortez.
Yeah. Him and Cortez.
Or was it Hodge?
Cortez and Hodge. Yeah, Hodge was the one that joined the Phalanx.
Yeah, he comes back as a scary robot.
Who was so forgettable of a character. Like, so much so that I was, they're like, we've met him before. I'm like, we have? When? I do not remember.
It was
anybody.
Cortez.
Yeah, Cortez was the most maniacally insane one before. But if we teamed these two up in an episode, maybe threw in Hodge for good measure, I think we'd be. I think we'd be in a good. I think we like just a maniacal team of insane people.
Mm-hmm.
And finding some reason for Geiger to have to like team up with a mutant would be interesting. I would like to see an episode where they give him the old Senator Kelly treatment from the movie and make him a mutant, or try to make him a mutant. Be interesting.
Turn him into water.
Well, yeah, but they were trying to make him a mutant. If it worked, it would have been interesting. Instead of just having, Mystique play him for a long time. Yeah, so then we get the X-Men are apparently Wolverine's senses didn't quite, because of Charles' strong mind, he was still holding on to life briefly. So they get him back, the Blackburn, they're getting him back to base to try to save him. But things are looking grim. Meanwhile, we see the
Ben Grimm.
I didn't mention that earlier. So then we see Genosha, and I have a point about this later, in which the X-Men are watching what's going on, or not the X-Men, sorry, other mutants are watching what's going on. Most notably, Sunfire and Wolfsbane.
That's Feral.
Oh,
Yeah.
Feral. Sorry. What's the appearance difference between Wolfsbane and Feral?
The
Wolfsbane looks like yours doesn't have that white streak and doesn't wear pink.
That's what I said. The pink dress.
Those are two very small things. Although the white on the front, I do. Right. Okay. So there you go. And then a bunch of see. There's Marianne right there by Kazar for some. Kangaroo by the Kangaroo. I didn't realize that was Kangaroo. That's awesome.
You think that's Kangaroo?
It looks just like him.
Yeah, it must be.
It's got to be. Was he a mutant in the Spider-Man comics?
Mm.
It's either Kangaroo or Kazar, but I think it. Or
no, it's not Kazar.
Or He-Man, but I'm pretty sure it's It's
it's Prince Adam.
Yeah, Prince Adam is actually a mutant.
Yeah.
He's hanging out in Genosha. He's like, I could use the power of Grayskull to help, but I don't. So also another question about in this episode, which I feel like is an animation error. Besides the fact her lips are weird, there is the way they draw Sunfire. It appears as though his eyes are his eyes.
Look at that eye.
Yeah, the eyes in the costume appear to be animated in such a way to imply that those are his actual eyes and not part of a helmet. Did you notice that? The skin color is through the holes underneath.
No, those holes underneath that's white paint.
I know, but not on this episode is what I'm saying. It looks the way they colored him seems to me like they thought his eyes were actually like the eyes of the mask were his actual eyes, and there were holes in the mask to show them.
There's been quite a few coloring errors this season.
Yeah, in this episode too. There's a lot of ones where the yellow part on the side of Jean stays blue, like a lot. But anyway, we see Magneto who's still up in his little castle, and like the last we heard, I don't remember. The last we saw Magneto was him teaming up against Apocalypse, right, with the X-Men.
Wasn't he with the Phalanx Covenant? Right?
Yes. Yes, he was he? Yes, he was.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't remember them establishing at any point in the series that he was back on Genosha with a bunch of mutants following him. No. Just seems like he kind of came out of the blue here. But so it appears as though at some point between all this other stuff going on, that Magneto had found his way back to Genosha, and there's a group of mutants that are kind of following him. They're not really doing anything at the moment, but they want him to take a stand and help. Yeah, that's right. Wolfsbane's an X Factor, right? So take a stand and help. Help fight against humanity for mutant rights. But they're waiting for him to give an answer, which he hasn't done yet. He's just standing stoically on top of his little castle. He's very dramatic, Magneto. He just, he comes off the wind going through the hair, standing alone, looking over everybody with his cape flowing in the wind. They're all like, just say something. And he's just like, and then he walks away and they're like, now is not the time. He'll speak when he's ready. Like, who is this? Like
staring at a mountain in the shape of an X.
I always find it funny, like these people are supposed to be leaders or people that are approachable by the people that are following them, but they're like, no, can't speak to him. He wants equality. But he also seems to want to be a king of sorts. It's a very strange dichotomy. So one thing. This is a side note that just reminded me of my trip. Which is nice to talk to Daniel, is that somebody when I was in Whistler, I was in a hot tub, and some other people from another part of Vancouver were sitting in the tub, and then we're talking for a bit, and they asked where I'm from, and being from Nova Scotia was quite a novelty over there, I guess. There weren't a lot of even visitors because the other side is pretty far away. So they were like, oh, I'm from Nova Scotia. There's a long pause, and the guy goes, I would have thought you'd have an accent. And I was like, no, I guess not. So
yeah,
I find it funny. It's like the people just think East Coasters are just all Newfoundlanders. I guess I don't know. So
I don't know. Executive producer of X-Men the Animated Series, Sydney I wonder thinks we have silly accents.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He told you this?
Yeah. Said he was almost tempted to come on the show because of our silly accents.
And that's the end of your conversation with him?
No,
Almost
I talk to him all the time.
He's awesome.
Well,
We
that's
talk regularly. He's cool, dude.
That's a shame. It's a dream of mine would be to be on this show, and maybe with my silly accent, there's no place for me. I think I could.
I find the people that are hardest to get on a show like this are the people who don't like to talk about the past. I've run into that with a few people.
Really?
Some people really don't like talking about the past. I'm kind of one of them. But I don't mind interviewing other people about their past.
Well, you probably shouldn't have picked a nostalgia-based podcast to be on, Davan.
Oh no! Oh no!
You know, I don't like thinking about the past or drudging up the past or dwelling in the past. I'm going to do a show specifically about the past. I know this is a very small window. That is something that we.
It's the X-Men.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always relevant.
Yes, true. It's something we love and cherish. So yes, but then we see the X-Men who are still,
Don't expose me for the fraud I am, André. God, it's our last episode.
I'm just bringing truth to power, Davan. That's what I do on this show. Obviously, I got to stand up for the little guy, which I guess is me. I don't know who else I'm defending here. I'll rope Daniel, and Daniel's with me.
Okay.
So so we get a lot of they're reaching out to Muir Island to try to get some help from it's like a greatest hits of guest stars just popping up here and there in this episode.
Like this.
What's going on back there, Mason? Is he gonna be all right?
Look at Storm's animation in this too. Everybody looks kind of like a Barbie doll. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Where's the next
the
points?
biggest problem. Oh, that's coming up.
Everybody looks like smooth like a Barbie doll except for her for some reason. She's Irish, she's weathered. Or Scottish.
She's a scientist.
Throw some lines on that face. She's from a barren rock.
I've been in contact with mutants around the globe. They're ready to fight. Who is with me?
Also, that I'm guessing Asian accent is really strange and hard to place. He sounds like Jet Li, kind of like someone doing a bad Jet Li impersonation. I mean, Jet Li was the thing at this time period, right? When did the one
Jackie Chan?
Yeah, but Jackie Chan doesn't sound like that. That guy sounds more like Jet Li. Specifically, Jet Li in the movie The One, which was not a good movie. So apparently she's unable to help them as well. The only one who can help them, they believe, would be Lilandra. Yeah, well,
beyond our medical science, though perhaps not beyond the aid of the superior technology of the Shi'ar.
It's like we're kind of on a time limit here, Beast. Maybe use some contractions or shorten those words up a little bit.
Speed it up.
Never.
Yeah. It's like they're like he could die any minute. Well, the fact that his terminal, declaration.
Beast would rather die himself than to short wind himself.
Except perhaps we should seek out extraordinary measures, including reaching out interstellarly. It's like just shorten it up, buddy. Kind of on a time table here.
Chop.
Yeah, that's right. So, they decide they should try to reach Lilandra. However, they want Jean to try to do it, but Jean's power. Charles and Lilandra have a special bond that Jean does not share with them. She must feel very left out. You see, there's the blue coloring. See how that should be yellow on the side and is blue. It's like that a lot in this episode.
God.
So they're trying to figure another way to reach Lilandra because only one who could seemingly do that is Charles. Although you'd think, being that they had a few run-ins with her, she would have left them like a communicator or a telephone or some kind of space flare. I don't know, whatever way that the Shi'ar get messages. I assume if they have such advanced technology, they have email. I mean,
probably, but it'll take a while to go through space.
Or at least a telegram. Dear Lilandra, stop. Charles nearly dead. Stop. Come soon. Stop.
Morse code coming in from Earth.
We find
it's
you.
The X-Men.
We hope this message find you well. Stop. The X-Men. So we cut back to the Sunfire, who once again has bug eyes for some reason in this episode, and Farrell, who are still waiting to hear from Magneto. Magneto does come out. He appears to be ready to speak. He, do you have any of this audio, Davan? Because some good audio here. Magneto speech.
This is Trish Tilby.
That's pretty great, but this is William Shatner playing
We have
Trish.
groveled and hidden like beaten animals anxious for a crumb from a master.
He's so Shakespearean, this Magneto. I love him so. David Henbeck was Henbeck, right? Was that his name?
Hembeck, yeah.
Henbeck, yeah. So good in this role. It's so sad that
Hembeck. We're thinking of Fred Hembeck from Marvel.
Yeah, the guy from the What the Comic Story. That's right.
Yeah,
So
David Hembeck,
yeah, he's fantastic. Every time I see him pop up on a TV, I remember him most from a really terrible TV show called Earth Final Conflict. That I remember that they used to have on here. That was like when you were a kid and you wanted sci-fi stuff, and there wasn't that much on TV, especially where we lived. You just would grab on to anything that kind of fit the mold. And Gene Roddenberry's Earth Final Conflict, as well as Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda, were the two shows that I used to watch, even though they're both quite terrible and profoundly Canadian. But Hemblin was
Andromeda has its moments.
Yeah, ish. Although I have my issues with Kevin Sorbo today.
I think everybody does.
Fairly right wing kind of lunatic who nowadays is very vocal about problematic issues that he probably shouldn't be commenting on. But that's a problem with a lot of folks in our modern day world. So we cut back to April O'Neil, who is back. Trish Tilby.
This is Trish Tilby.
The way she said that's pretty great. Trish Tilby. So we see her reporting on issues with mutants engaging with humans all across.
Viva Magneto! Here's our next T-shirt.
That's a good T-shirt. Viva Magneto!
Think you can do that one? Big explosion.
Looks like it. Well, it looks like a mushroom cloud, which probably isn't the best outcome for either side, mutant or human.
Right.
Oh no, it's a Magneto helmet. It also looks like a mushroom cloud. It's like a double.
Of course.
Oh, that is an awesome T-shirt.
That is a pretty good idea. It should be hard to do. I like that helmet design. Actually, that's pretty cool. Marvel, don't sue us. So
they haven't yet.
Just give us a job. Sue Davan, not me. I'm unaffiliated. I'm kidding. Just give us jobs.
Don't sue me. I have babies to feed.
That's true.
André doesn't have babies.
I have cats.
Me too. 4.
Oh shit! I got 3 and no babies.
Yeah, help me out here.
Maybe we should adopt some kids. I don't know. I had a little brother, big sisters, but he turned 18, so he aged out of that.
Oh, now you'll never speak to him again.
No, we still talk. We still hang out.
That's it. It's over.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry,
18. Get out of my car.
My obligation is over. No, we still talk. Although I haven't got a chance to see him much lately because I've been gone and other stuff going on. But yes, then we cut to a news article where Charles Xavier appears to be alive and well, talking to the camera. God, the animation in this episode is so bad. Just like every I'm just skimming through it when I'm talking, and I'll pause on frames where his shoulders, one shoulder to the right is way longer than the one to the left, and and then sometimes Cyclops is coloring on the top of his head looks weird. It's just his visor looks very strange. They have these weird things on the side to scoop down. So Trish Tilby is reporting on this. And, you know what she sounds like? Do you watch What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah,
I love that show. But Matt Berry, who is on that show and was on the IT Crowd and the Toast of London.
Yeah, the Toast of London was great.
Yes, I hear you, Clem Fandango. That guy. So he it sounds like him doing this voice, just the way he talks. I'm Trish Tilby. Tilby. This is how he taught. One of my favorite lines in that entire show is when he goes into hiding and he becomes a bar owner in Tucson, and he just is working behind a bar, and there's got people there, and this one girl says to him, his name's Jackie Daytona. That's his
Jackie Daytona.
Yeah. his assumed name, and this one woman goes, Jackie, you're just so strange. She's like, I mean, you say you're from no, and he goes, I can't remember where he was. It wasn't in Tucson. He's from somewhere else. But she goes, I mean, you say you're from Tucson, but you got this funny accent. And he's like, this is how we talk in Arizona. It's one of my favorite lines. He was hiding from Mark Hamill, who is another Vampire Jim. It's a great name. So anyway, we see Xavier say that he's alive and well and recovering, and he doesn't want anyone out there to resort to violence. This is not the way to the path to acceptance, and blah blah blah. So then, of course, we learn that it was not
The
Xavier.
trick to coming off well on television is to be yourself. Or then again, maybe not.
Good old Morph. Then we get old Morph back, who they at least they kept his coloring once he got normal. His hair didn't stay brown. It went from black to brown when he returned. And,
he doesn't get a floaty chair though. You notice that he's just in a regular old wheelchair.
Yeah, they couldn't have just put him in the Xavier chair. I mean, he was on national television in a floating chair. Like
he doesn't know how to work it.
You know how much money it costs to operate that chair?
Yeah, well, technically, Charles does control that chair with his brain. So,
is that how that works?
Yeah,
that seems like a lot of work just to get around.
Yeah, well, so is walking.
Is true. So, I guess they come to figure out that the only person that can probably help them is Magneto, who, or actually, they don't figure this out first right away, do they? First, they just want to stop Magneto from.
They want to stop him.
Yeah.
They want to cut the head off this rebellion snake.
But Magneto hasn't really been an enemy to them since the first season. I mean, very briefly when he's helping Apocalypse, only to get his wife back, which he seems to have forgotten about between that one and this one. But he's
finally moved on.
Yeah, finally,
growth.
I guess. Yeah, it's growth, acceptance, change. So
couldn't you have just painted the plane or something?
Hey, tough guy. I thought you liked getting knocked around.
I prefer to do the knocking.
I'm a little ahead of you there, but
that's all right. So basically, they want to stop Magneto. It's only going to be Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean go. So Wolverine doesn't want Jean to go, but Cyclops says, "Well, I can't force her not to," because Wolverine.
He's in the Mediterranean Sea.
Mediterranean. Yeah, I got an explain about that. So they go off. They believe it's a suicide mission. Or Wolverine does at least to go into this area. Wolverine, or as the Blackbird approaches Genosha, Magneto blows it out of the sky, thinking he killed whatever X-Men were on it. Very cavalierly too. He's just like, oh well, I thought they sent the X-Men, but now I don't have to worry about him anymore. Which was basically they jumped out before this happened, which is all part of the plan. Jean used her powers to break their fall, but still got knocked around a little bit. Wolverine's like, we just painted the plane blue to match the sky. Would be funny to just I would like to see Wolverine with like a Pantone chart looking at what the night sky in Genosha is at this time of night to try to figure out the right paint. I mean, it could be periwinkle, but I think it's more of an azure.
Who's that guy? That guy looks familiar.
He looks. Oh yeah, we saw him earlier, but I don't really know who he is. Although several characters are named here, I can look them up in a little bit. He kind of looks like remember that Marvel character that was Marvel's knockoff version of Spawn that was in Spider-Man for a little while, and then they killed him off. Nightwatch.
Oh, Nightwatch.
Yeah, he had the cape that was. Yeah, I remember because when I was a kid, I only had like a handful of comics that I reread all the time, and then he was in one of them, which is why I'm familiar with him. He was like, he had these gauntlets too. He appeared first in the Enemy of My Enemy storyline where Blood Rose and the Foreigner and Kingpin and all this stuff went down. It was a weird, complicated storyline. I want to say the guy did Maximum Carnage did it. Tom Nesinza. I can't remember his name right.
Fabian Nicieza.
Maybe that was it. He's not the.
He didn't do it. I can't remember who did Maximum Carnage.
I literally just read it again because it was free on Kindle Unlimited. But he was the guy that was writing Spider-Man at the time. Was it Larry something? No, that'll come to me in a moment. And by that, I mean, I'll look at Tom DeFalco.
Oh, Tom DeFalco.
No, it's not. There were several writers on. He was one, but he's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of, I think, David Michelini.
Oh yes,
Yeah, he's the one I'm thinking of. J.M. DeMatteis has worked on that too. But yeah, so then the X-Men are just sneak into the camp. By sneak in, I mean they just literally walk into the camp past everybody who's sleeping. Like nobody's watching, nobody's doing anything.
They were tiptoeing.
Yeah, but and then like, somebody recognizes them immediately. Like there's footage of them on TV in these costumes, being the X-Men, would show up all the time, and someone's like, "Hey, I never seen these mutants around before." I guess when Sunfire encountered some X-Men before, it was Gambit and Storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he hadn't encountered these two particular X-Men, but they also wear the X-Men symbol on their clothing. So, there's that too.
Very conspicuous.
All the kids are wearing X's on their things these days, though.
Like we've established they have stealth costumes. They wore them in a previous episode. Why are they not wearing those costumes? Remember, like the one
jeans costume, that part on her leg that's supposed to be blue, let's make that bright yellow. Yeah. And the part that's supposed to be yellow on her, like torso,
let's make it a dirty mustard color.
I think her waist is so skinny there. Like that's like it's amazing. I'm like, yeah, Jean.
Yeah, she's been hitting the fitness for sure. She's doing those aerobics. So
Suzanne Summers.
Oh yeah, there's that I'm just looking. Oh, Moondragon's in the background here too.
What? Not Moondragon. She's not a mutant.
It looks very much like her, or Destiny maybe, without the mask. So remember that mutant that had I remember the toy. He kind of looked like Tusk, but his face was like in his midsection. He didn't have a neck, and a little guy would come out his back. Oh, that was Tusk.
That's Tusk.
There's another guy.
Tusk. Yeah, it was Tusk.
Okay, there's a guy in here that in the background that reminds me of an X-Men toy I had when I was a kid, or a friend of mine had, and I can't remember which one he is. But there's a lot of random mutants in the background, so they recognize them as being, intruders, basically. Magneto comes out. So where are we at here? So then Magneto comes out to address everyone, basically. First the X-Men start circling the X-Men. Then Magneto comes out to talk to everybody. They manage to sneak away while they're distracted by Magneto. Find a hole, and by that just blow one in the side of the mountain to get into Magneto's area. After Magneto gives a speech, they,
hey, when the planet's falling apart, who'd want to be anywhere else but with you guys?
Morph is such a strange version of good guy with every quality of a bad guy. He's basically didn't we say that he's the same voice as Beasley from the Care Bears? Yeah, which makes a lot of sense because he's got that sort of way he laughs and that sort of evil little tinge to his voice. It's just very like the fact that he's a main character in the new season. It means they're going to have to change this character a bit because he's too annoying.
No, it wasn't one of the villains. The Beasley.
Beasley was the villain in Care Bears. Oh,
yeah.
Maybe it was. Oh, yeah. It was a guy. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. I do remember that now. Yeah, it was one of the guys from the episode. That was a bad guy. He had a recognizable voice when we looked it up. He did a lot of Canadian stuff. This is an American show, but it was filmed mostly here. All the voice work was. So anyway, they get in a fight with Magneto.
Cheap Canadian labor.
That's right. Those Canadian scabs. So it's funny. Side note, I listened to this podcast with Mick Garris, and he was talking about the first writer's strike a long time ago and how he had the show, because you and I talked about the show Fear Itself, Davan, the spinoff from Master of Horror. The reason that show came around was they had the first writer's strike, and then the company, the studio, got scab writers from Canada to come in and write. And so that's why part of why he took his name off the show, because Canadian scab writers. So Karl Marx should be spinning in his grave. So anyway, they get in a fight with Magneto. During the fight, Magneto amplifies Jean's powers briefly when she's trying to stop him from using his. But then during they let slip that Charles is going to die.
How much do you love Charles Xavier?
How dare you ask me such a question?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Dare you?
I love
You
him
know
more
my
than
love for him is eternal.
life itself. When all this blows over, he and I are going to get a condo together.
On the beach.
Yeah, on the beach. It is nice to see something recognized. You know, as someone who tries to be, you know, as wholeheartedly as a human being as I can be, I do think it's sort of nice that they try to, even at this early time, normalize that it's okay for men to love other men in a non-sexual way or love way, romantic way. To say, you know, to say a friend, I love you isn't a, you know, is not a shitty thing to do as a man. It's just something that we should be able to do to express our feelings. So it is kind of nice that this show, even briefly, maybe what they didn't even think about this when they did it, to sort of normalize.
Oh, just come out and tell me you love me already, Andre. You're dancing around it like a freaking ballerina.
This is so romantic. I love it. In a non-romantic way. I love it.
That's right. Davan, you're okay.
I'll take it.
I love you, buddy.
You do.
So anyway, she realizes during this fight that Magneto's powers amplify electromagnetic activity as well, which is somehow related to Charles's mental powers. I'm not quite sure.
Yes, because brainwaves are electromagnetic.
That's never come up before in the series.
No,
I find
I know.
Really funny.
And it's an interesting thing to know. Like, wow, what a team him and Xavier are now.
Yeah, he could literally, two of them together could just brainwash the world essentially.
Yeah.
So, anywho, Jean realizes this and asks Magneto to come with them to help save Charles. To which Magneto basically immediately abandons his plans to take over the world right now with his mutant army and just goes with them to go do that, which is another testament to how much Charles means to him, which is also kind of sweet. Though I sort of find it funny. I like this dynamic with characters when they're like old friends, but now enemies, but there's still a respect there. You know, and an understanding that they both kind of want the same thing, even though their methods of doing it are different. So that was cool. So it's pretty quick after this. Basically, they run back to Xavier's. Oh yeah, so they want Magneto to amplify Xavier's powers in his coma and reach out to Lilandra, like the movie Contact, the terrible fucking movie Contact. So
terrible movie Contact.
You wait the whole movie to see the alien. It turns out to be your goddamn father.
It's gonna be featured on Hold Up here in a.
You haven't had a new episode in a while, have you? You guys haven't.
Yeah, we just launched season 2.
What?
Oh, I think I forgot to load it up in audio only form.
You son of a gun.
I'll have to do that. Thanks for reminding me.
I take back what I said about loving you.
Well, you'll love that episode. It's the most agreeable one we've ever had.
I don't necessarily need you to be agreeable. I just don't need you to be violently angry at each other.
There's no in between.
Yeah, like Davan just telling everyone if they like a Transformers movie, they're a fucking idiot. And then
I never said those words. You put those words.
I'm pretty sure it's maybe not fucking, but I'm pretty sure you said several lines throughout in your show that are like similar in tone. And believe me, I don't like those movies either. But I also think that in our complicated society of people taking sides, we need to try to understand a little bit, you know, broaden it a little bit. But I get what you're saying. So anyway, they go back. Magneto agrees to help. They amplify Charles's brainwaves, which sends off a mental flare, I guess, to Lilandra. They also warn Magneto that if Charles dies when he's doing this, he could possibly die too, and Magneto's willing to take the chance. But then when this happens, Charles manages to come too long enough to say very nice things about everybody present.
I'm playing it. I'm playing the whole thing. So
it's actually a nice speech. So yeah,
it is.
It's nice to see you home. In facing your fears, you have proven yourself truly an X-Man. Gambit, how often must the scoundrel prove himself a hero before he believes it himself? Jubilee, you are the future. When I look at your face, I see hope. Storm, my beautiful storm, mighty as a hurricane, gentle as a summer rain, you honor me with your friendship. Wolverine, loner, you have found a family. Wild savage, you have found dignity. Cynic, you have found faith. Rogue, unable to touch, yet look around you. You will find you have touched us all. Jane, first in my heart, your courage allowed you to see things no other human ever has, yet remained the same innocent child I met so very long ago.
Is there anything I can do, Charles?
The friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with hoops of steel. Scott, were I your father, I would tell you that no truer son could ever be. I am proud. I am proud of you all. My X-Men.
I laugh now, but I fucking cried when I watched this yesterday. It was legit crying.
That's what I said. This season, like, as much as people shit on it, there's still, like, the animation has been shitty-ish, but there is still quite a bit of good stuff in it. Like, it's certainly not dismissible.
No, man, the Sinister episode was cool.
A lot of episodes. The Phalanx ones were great. The fairy tale one was fine. You know, like there was stuff in there that I know, Dave. Shots fired, Dave. It was especially because everybody shit on that one specifically, and I remember thinking like, this isn't that bad. Like, you know, it's but anyway.
You know what else is so sad? Clubbing baby seals. They're a baby seal clubber. So
wow, it's aggressive.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, it was a great little speech, and it actually seemed like an interesting send off. You know, especially if they assumed or knew this would be the last episode. But you know, because you know that they're unified in a way. Magneto has found a common ground enough to be there. He has all these nice things to say to everybody. Then Lilandra shows up. Saying that, you know, they can help him, but they can't guarantee how they have to take him back to the Share Empire, and that you know, they don't know how it's going to shake down.
Chandela.
He may be back in only as a spiritual form or whatever, but he may not be back.
I thought I'd pick up the career I dropped for Charles.
Whoops, that's not.
That's from a long time ago. That was what's her face, Ashley, Lindsay.
What's her name? The redhead.
What's her name? Former girlfriend.
Oh, I loaded up the wrong clip. 1 second.
Jesus.
I know, man. I'm just a shadow of my former self.
Something
Perhaps not in body, my children, but my spirit shall remain among you, where it was always meant to be.
Perhaps not in body, but I will be there in spirit, watching, always watching.
It's underage seals attending a club to a party. Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. But my spirit will be watching, always watching. When you're in the bathroom, in the shower, when you're alone, I'll be there watching, judging. Judging. So yeah, Charles takes off the Lilandra to go heal, to convalesce on another alien planet, and then the X-Men and Magneto look on as he leaves in a very dramatic fashion.
The end.
The end.
Yeah.
Of the X-Men animated series.
So far.
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
Decide, Daniel.
Gosh, you guys know, I mean, I don't like this animation, but gosh, my heart is broken. Seeing all the X ladies cry, and this will come up with my X points later. I gotta give it a 10. I'm sorry if you guys don't agree, but it is a beautiful. All of our people, Morph comes back. All besides the animation, I try to give it a 9.5, but I know we don't do 0.5s on this. But I just had to go for 10.
Davan, I'm interested to hear yours for.
Yeah. Like I cried. I legit cried. I actually thought it was a really good episode. I love how friggin' maniacally insane Gyrick is.
I do think like before he was creating like a whole army of sentinels to like just to wipe out mutants, but then all of a sudden he just produces a machine that somehow manages to screw up Charles's like mental pattern, basically kill Charles Xavier. Like he's like, oh, I got this. I don't know where it came from, but I got it. It's fun. I found that kind of funny, but I do agree with you. It was a great episode.
I'm gonna give it a 9 just because the animation had a lot of mistakes, and there was a bit of a like them tiptoeing into the place and stuff like that. There's a lot of whatabouts or not whatabouts, but you know what I'm talking about, like MacGuffins, like the they're tiptoeing through the tulips there.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that could be not good. But I think the I'm going to go with the 9 as well. But I think it's mostly because the power of parts of this episode sort of elevate it above its faults to a point. Like I feel like
they just like wash away the revolution in like 2 seconds.
It could have easily been a 6 or a 6 or 7, but because of some of how good elements of it were, I would say it's definitely elevates it to a point that makes it good. So.
MZ gives it a 9 as well with 10 storytelling.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I guess that's time for it. All right, well, I could go first here. All right, so Trish Tilby. She's a character from the comics, actually. She debuted in X Factor number 7. And she ends up kind of dating Beast for a while. They have a bit of an on-again, off-again thing.
Trish Tilby. Trish Tilby?
No, I mean...
This is Trish Tilby.
Tilby.
Hi, I'm Hank McCoy. She's like, oh, I like you, sir. Yeah, that's my first one. Trish Tilby.
All right.
André.
In the comics, Genosha's location is always depicted as being in the southeastern African coast.
Yeah.
However, according to this map and where Cyclops points to, it's in the Mediterranean Sea.
Is he on Genosha?
That's what they say, yeah.
Okay.
They say he's in Genosha several times.
Okay. Then yeah, that is weird because it's definitely always been like close to Madagascar.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll save another point. You go, Daniel.
My next point is going to be about the animation. Is that okay?
Yeah. Some pretty funny gap.
The number one thing I was going to say was Jubilee's bangs all season, but then I started watching this again, and I couldn't not stop looking at every male's eyebrows, starting with Professor X's eyebrows, going to like Guy Ritchie's eyebrows, going to anybody else's eyebrows. This episode, they were like up with a little point and then down. These are the worst eyebrows I've ever seen. So that is my next point. That I think that's okay for this. So I'm like, this is wild.
It's just
Professor X's has some intense eyebrow episodes.
Oh yeah, the eyebrows. But like, especially this animation is
there's no curve. It's just like 3 nodes, just one up. Yeah, it's a triangle with the bottom line.
It makes him look evil.
Yeah, it really does. Xavier is one of the evilest looking guys who's not a bad guy I think I've ever seen in animation.
Yeah.
Bald guys are usually evil, pointy eyebrows.
Tell me about it.
I know. He's like he looks like Ming the Merciless kind of, like just
Yeah. All right, my next point. Gyrick. So I think they switched his voice up, and I'm sure I didn't look it up, but the Gyrick in this episode sounds exactly like Mojo. I swear it's the Mojo voice.
Oh, very well could be.
I bet anything on it. He sounds so much like him. Like, listen to this. Here, I'll play one of the clips. See if you hear the Mojo.
I'll see if he's listed.
Don't be fooled by bleeding heart mutant appeasers. We are at war.
Like that when he starts growling, you can hear it.
They aren't like us. They don't want rights. They want to destroy us.
That's Mojo. I swear it is. All right.
They aren't like us.
They aren't like us.
He's just so angry all the time. What an angry man.
I mean, it sounds like an angry existent being like a racist.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of work, honestly. Hating somebody that much.
It really does.
Hating anything that much seems like a lot of work. All right. So I was going to see if Geiger was listed in this episode under the voices. But I don't see. Oh, yeah. Barry Flatman.
All right. You do your X point. I'll see who does Mojo.
Okay. So, So Trish Tilbay reports on the van that she had behind her, and the camera crew all have the J3 Communications logo, which is the broadcasting company owned by J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man animated series. So that's the same company that Peter Parker works for.
Peter Wildman does Mojo's voice.
Different guy then.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's a fun little tie in connection to the Spider-Man animated series. J. Jonah Jameson, J3. Get it? 3 J's. JJJ.
Yep. 3J.
All right.
All right, Daniel.
All right, so I was looking at the cameos. So we obviously saw Feral and Sunfire. Tusk and Callisto were there. I think we saw Toad, and we also saw Forearm, who has kind of come back recently in the comics, but very inconsistently. So it was kind of cool to see him. I remember growing up, and you guys remember the toys. Like, I had no idea who Forearm was. I was like, who is this guy? I'm like, well, where's Rogue and where's, Jean Grey? But you put out a Forearm toy. But anyways,
you get Forearm and Tusk. That's what you get. You don't get those guys.
Right. I'm like,
hey, I loved my Tusk action figure.
No, I mean, now I look back and I'm like, these are awesome. But anyways, so that's my X point. Like, seeing all these guys and 2 ladies was kind of cool. So I was like, all right, this is great.
All right, back to me. Well, I think this is one of the few episodes, if not like the most recent one since the first episode, is the X-Men are all together. And like you never see that once the series gets going. It's always like 3 or 4 of them at a time. And all it took was Charles Xavier to almost die to get everyone in a room. Come on.
Well, apparently one of the I'll just throw this on to add on to yours. Apparently the original idea for this were a bunch of other Marvel characters to make cameos in this episode to say goodbye to Charles Xavier. But I'm guessing for time and budget, they cut it down to just the X-Men. But apparently there's going to be like other superheroes and other people that were going to be there that were commenting on him. So
it should have just been Mr. Sinister. I knew your grandfather.
Yeah.
Great grandfather or whatever he was.
I'd be like great grandfather been around. Wow.
Yeah, great grandfather. Hated him.
Couldn't watch him die. I'm happy to watch you.
Yep. All right. Well, back to you, Daniel.
Actually, that one wasn't mine, but I can do that one.
You were piggybacking on mine.
I was, but I can do that.
Do another one.
I only have one left, right? This will be my last one.
Yeah, sure.
I got 2, so I'll lump them together. One was I like some of the Cyclops Wolverine interactions. At one point, Cyclops comes to Wolverine and says, "I need your advice," and then Wolverine says, "First time for everything." That was funny. The other thing was that quote that Charles said when he was dying, when he said, I brought it up here. It was
talking about metal.
Those friends. Yeah, be the Well, it's actually a much larger quote, but I could read the whole thing, but it's kind of long, so I'll just read his part. "Those friends thou hast in their adoption tried, grapple them unto thy soul with hoops of steel." So that's from Hamlet. That's a Shakespeare quote. So he had to stick it to Beast before he died, I guess. He's like,
he did, didn't he?
You're not the. He's like, "See, you're not the only one who can quote Shakespeare."
You just hear in the background, "Fuck you, Charles."
How dare you?
That's my thing, you ignoramus. He just said, like, one of those phrases that people don't really use in real life, but smart people do on TV that I bring up all the time.
Yeah. All right. Back to you, Daniel, for your last X.
My last one is seeing all the ladies of X-Men upset. Like, I was like a young gay boy that was like, oh my gosh, these strong Rogue, Storm, Jubilee, Jean Grey, they're all crying tears. And I'm like, I am crying with you ladies. But it was hard to see, but knew they just loved him so much as a mentor that it was also wonderful to see. And I'm going to postpone that until the next segment.
Oh.
That's okay.
Then, of course, because men don't cry, none of them.
I cry my eyes.
Our tear ducts are removed at birth.
Exactly.
Jesus, I think I cried watching a movie like a week ago, maybe a day ago.
I cry at every third Star Trek episode.
Oh, try all the time. It's okay.
There's a movie I watched that touched me in a way that was really good, but I can't remember what it was. Usually, that's where it comes from the most.
That wasn't the movie.
Yeah, there's something I watched a while ago that got me. I can't remember what it was. I don't know. It might have been Everything Everywhere All at Once, but there was something that got me somewhere.
All right. Well, the 10th X point is this series just ends up being pretty much the Magneto story arc. But I understand why they're going to pick it up in 97 with Magneto leading the team and stuff, because this. Like where we start the series in the very third episode is, Magneto's the big crazy villain gonna send nukes out.
I'd like to see the meeting where they're all like, who should lead us? Magneto.
Yeah, the guy who was trying to nuke the world. The
guy's been trying to kill us to nuke the world since we met him.
Yeah, but it comes full circle, helps them out. They talk him down. They have a little fight, but they also talk him down with words. But, so it's interesting. It's kind of like the Magneto story arc. And it was also full circle for the series where it starts off in the first two episodes where the humans are the bad guys and, of course, the Sentinels, but they're just an extension of humanity. And now we're back at the last episode and it's Gyrick and the humans being the bad guys again. So, that makes sense because that's how it should be.
Yeah, I love when they do the... Well, one thing I always find funny is when the villain becomes a hero when it's convenient. A lot of shows will do this. Where so
it said that it's not accurate.
Where the boy when the villain becomes cool, so they need to make him a good guy. It eventually that happens on most shows, unless most kid shows or comics even. Eventually, in wrestling, in wrestling it happens all the time. If you're such a good bad guy, eventually the crowd starts liking you, and then you have to become a good guy. So what always makes me think about this is whenever I think about good guys becoming bad guys when it's convenient, or vice versa when it's convenient, is do you remember? Well, obviously you remember when 9/11 happened. So shortly after that, maybe within the year, they put out this amazing Spider-Man comic with the black cover. Do you remember that one that was all about 9/11? And it was all about heroes trying to pull people out of the rubble and all this sort of stuff. And then they panned to this. There's one panel, and I don't want to shit on the comic because obviously it was important and it raised money towards relief and all that sort of stuff. And but there's one panel where it's Dr. Doom, the Red Skull, and somebody else standing around, and there's tears coming from their eyes because
that was touched. Doom.
Yeah, there's they're touched by the sheer loss of humanity and all that.
Doom just does shit like that by himself all the time.
I'm sure there are comics where he's wiped out entire countries or at least killed lots of people at once. Yet he's I just always found it so that one thing just really always I found was so ridiculous. I know that story's probably not meant to be in canon. I don't know, but it was just enough that I was I always found it very opportunistic, I guess. I don't know. It always felt strange and off brand for me. But I'm glad that Magneto's getting the hero treatment. I'm curious. I'd like to see more of that in the new series. I'm very excited for that part. That'd be cool if they gave him the white costume.
Hey, check this.
Well, no, I like that they're giving him the New Mutants costume.
The purple one.
I love that with the big M. Yeah, I love that.
Purple is my favorite color, so
Me too. Purple and green. Hey, the color of evil in the Marvel universe.
Do you know that there's only? I had a trivia tonight. It was a fundraiser for the United Way, and that I was hosting. And one of my trivia questions, I'll have to rephrase it since it's obvious what the answer is. But what is the only country in the world to have purple in its flag?
I don't know.
Davan?
Korea.
Oh, it's a Caribbean country called Dominica.
Oh, wait a minute.
They have a little parrot in the center of the flag, and purple is in the parrot. But it is the only flag. The way I phrased the question was Dominica is the only country in the world to have this color in its flag. But obviously, purple is the answer for our conversation. But yeah, it's one small little note. There's also like only one country in the world, I think, that has a non-rectangular or square flag.
Oh yeah, who's that?
Oh, it's like three triangles.
What shape
kind
is
of
it?
link. It's like three triangles that like kind of go like this, almost like steps down the side.
Hmm.
I want to say it's in like.
Oh, I know where it is. It's in
Netherlands.
Hyrule. Anyway, this is our comic reminiscences and recommendations segment. I'll go first. I'm going to recommend Uncanny X-Men number 199 and 200, which I think I've recommended before.
Beautiful.
But it's very apropos for this episode because, one, he's wearing the big M that he's going to be wearing in the new series. But also, this is the storyline, these two comics, where the similar thing happens to Xavier. He gets like taken out at the trial of Magneto by the Strucker twins. There they are there. And almost kills Xavier, and that's when he has to go off to live with the Shi'ar for a long time, and that's when Magneto takes over the school. And yeah, it all happens here. Check it out. And also check out the Fall of X. The Krakoan era was kind of getting a little bit stale there, but it's back, baby. Fall of X is awesome.
I agree.
I really gotta start reading more comics. I gotta find more time. I did find some cool stuff in Victoria. I got in Vancouver. I got the one of those Marvel complete collections that has like all the collected origin story stuff of Apocalypse. So it's like his Rise of Apocalypse. So it's got I sent you a picture of it, Devin. I got that one and the one that's all about Typhoid Mary with all her different appearances and stuff. But the X-Men one is cool. They even include the Apocalypse versus Dracula miniseries in it.
And Typhoid Mary's crazy. I remember this Daredevil comic during the Bendis run, which is some of the best Bendis stuff, is his Daredevil stuff. And
Powers is pretty great.
He's just like walking down the street as Matt Murdock, and she's just like, "Oh, hey, Matt, it's me, Mary." And she just goes, "Burn," and it like sets him on fire, and his whole entire body is like lit up in flames. It's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was a great art.
Yeah. You didn't make your recommendation, did you, André?
I did not.
No.
So let me tell you a tale about a certain little team of people that, were judged by the world around them because they're different and had powers, and they felt like outcasts and were treated poorly by the public. And they're unified by a man in a wheelchair.
The Serpent Society.
Small group of malcontents that went on to become, heroes defending a world that hate it and understand them, are the Doom Patrol. And you could probably read their Grant Morrison's run on the book is one of his seminal comics and one of the best ones. I know I talk about Grant Morrison all the time, I do love him. And I've already suggested his X-Men run a lot. So I figured I'll throw another one in there for good measure, which is a very X-Men-ish group, the Doom Patrol. So his whole run, I think it's 6 volumes that encompass it all. It's beautiful. There's some really amazing, hilarious, heartfelt, existential, strange stuff in it, including a great episode in which a hyper-intelligent monkey has a love affair with a Nazi brain in a jar. If that's not enough for you, I don't know what else is. It's fantastic, and you should definitely read it. It's so good, and it's full of like acceptance of and a lot of parody of of
Nazis.
Ish. But there's a great villain. I never watched it, but I should. The TV show they did on Netflix that spun off from the Titan show. Apparently, a lot of it is influenced from Grant Morrison's run, almost all of it. So if you enjoy that show, that's the book for you.
Doesn't that star Canada's own Brendan Fraser?
He does the voice of Mr. Robot, and I believe, or Robot Man. Sorry, not Mr. Robot. That's a Sam Esmail TV show. He does the voice, and I believe when they show flashbacks, when he's in human form, he plays those parts too. That was sort of before his big resurgence, but I believe he kept it going until the series ended. But Timothy Dalton plays Niles Calder. That's fun.
Cool.
The girl from Orange is the New Black, the young one, the Hispanic girl.
The girl from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, the one
like
girl in Orange is the New Black.
Black.
The younger Hispanic girl. There's like two of them that are like really into makeup and stuff. I can't remember her name.
Oh, yeah.
She was the shorter of the two. She's in it. I think she plays Crazy Jane.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a really great show. What's his face that everybody loves from Firefly?
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, the other one. Alan Tudyk is he plays Mr. Nobody, who's one of the best villains ever to come out of these comics. He's a guy. He's kind of like a more why am I blanking on the name? A Salvador Dali-esque sort of Joker, in that his whole motivation is that like he's really into Dadaism and the idea that nothing should be taken seriously, anything. And because of that, he's cavalier about almost any part of life, and it's truly disturbing, but also very interesting. And it goes to some cool places. So check it out; it's really, really good. There are a lot of collections out there, and go read Grant Morrison's X-Men run again, because it's the best, right?
Yeah,
Davan?
some of it. You can read a couple stories.
Zorn for life.
No,
Zorn.
Skip everything with Zorn.
Fuck you. Zorn, the Revelation, this is a big spoiler, but I mean the comic's been out for like 20 years, 25 years. So the revelation that Zorn was Magneto was amazing. That was
Jaemeel,
at the
if you're
time.
listening, feel free to join the feed.
No, Jaemeel. I'll go read it all and then write a novel just to come back on here and like defend it. It was so good.
All right. Well, we'll do a long form, one of our special episodes. We'll do a long form comic storyline review.
And Phantom X.
You can review some Grant Morrison.
Phantom X is one of the best additions to the X-Men canon. So
as long as you don't try to understand it.
What? You can absolutely understand it. And plus,
Oh,
did you say? No.
Oh, I was like, I don't think I was your first guest, but I was like, I think I need to jump in here as one of the first guests.
You were the first guest.
I was the first guest, then I can be on
Yeah.
the show too and say hello to the X.
Hey, Daniel, this is my cousin Dave.
Hey, cousin
Daniel.
Dave, I've heard about you a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Now it's
Sorry
time
to
for
crash the party here. I just was
Daniel's comic recommendation.
All right, so I told you guys I was like emotional when all the X ladies were crying.
Oh yeah,
and this is one of the first books that I ever read. Where's
my copy? Yeah,
Wait, Davan,
love
Davan,
it.
you know what this is, right? So
yeah.
So it gets better because at Comic-Con, Will Portacio, if I say his name right, Portacio, he was there and he was signing prints. So I got a print. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I've got this, and I was like, as a kid, I wanted this so bad. So I was like, what's going on with Storm? And then at Comic-Con this past weekend, I got that. So I was very pleased. It's when
that's amazing.
Storm and Forge start breaking up and deciding they can never get married and never be together. So seeing all the ladies cry and remembering this prior to that, I'm like, this is great. I love it. I'm like, this is sad. Great. Like, so that is my comic recommendation. So yeah.
What number is that again?
It's 290.
290. Yeah.
It's a great book. Ooh, that's wonderful. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
got a comic recommendation for us, cousin Dave?
Well, I saw that one with Jake Sisko and who was the other one? Oh, it was like Alexander, right? And it was like an alternate timeline when they went to Starfleet, and you were like hating it in the chat. So I wasn't going to bring that one up. But that's the only thing I could think of.
So it's a comic that's not even out yet?
Yeah.
It's coming out soon.
Classic cousin Dave never gets my formats.
No.
Classic Dave.
Classic Dave. Yeah.
There we go. There's my copy. But the one before it, too, when she's making out with Forge.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Beautiful. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Same
Gotta have
one.
it. Love it.
Great.
All right. Let's move on to everybody's favorite segment.
Who's everybody?
You
You don't represent us.
I was talking about you. You represent you.
That is my favorite. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
You don't like the movie? Change the channel.
Where's the remote taking us tonight?
Well, let me tell you a little story about a group of misfits that society didn't like the way they looked and judged them based on that. And they lived on
Lost Boys.
They lived on a far off island where they were taken under the looked to a savior type character to rule them. A man who is also
The Lord of the Flies.
Power issues. You're getting much closer.
Lost.
You're also getting closer. My recommendation. I can't even believe I'm doing this.
Are you coughing because of your asthma?
No, I don't have asthma. I'm just laughing. I'm coughing on my own humor here. So choking on my own smugness. So my suggestion is the 1990s classic starring Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer, The Island of Dr. Moreau.
No.
A movie so profoundly strange that it needs to be seen to be believed. The effects work in it is gorgeous, so you can appreciate that. However, almost everything else about this movie is insane. It spun off a couple of documentaries about how messed up the production of this was, and because Brando was a lunatic at this point in his life. I mean, David Thewlis is in it, which is cool. I like him. But aside from that, it's something that's really got to be seen to be believed. I'd say get a group of friends together, have a few drinks, and laugh, because this movie is so profoundly bad, but yet oddly charming in a really bad way. It's almost
charming.
Like,
is that the word? I find it confounding. It's like you're watching it and it's not entertaining. Well, no, it's like you're distracted because you're asking yourself if you're being entertained the entire time. You're like, is this entertainment? Is this what's happening right now?
So one time during on Mark Maron's podcast, he had Ron Perlman on, and Perlman told a story about working in that movie because it was a dream of his to get to meet Brando. And he said Brando had an earpiece in. He had a guy in the other room feeding him his lines during his scenes. He didn't engage with anybody really. He was so fat he could barely like get around sets and stuff. And at one point when he was coming up with his character for the movie, I'm guessing when he originally talked to Richard Stanley, the original director, before he got kicked off the movie because of Brando, which is a whole part of the story as well. But they made the decision because his character was the lawgiver, who's like in like the charge of the law on the island. I believe that character was played by Bela Lugosi in the original Island of Lost Souls, which is a really good adaptation. Charles Dutton plays Moreau in that. Which Criterion has out, but you can find it. That's probably the best version of the Dr. Moreau story. So he decided to make the character blind because this guy's representation of justice. So he's like, I'll make him blind. It'll be poetic, justice blind. So he did the scene with Brando. He's so excited, and then Brando like calls over the dude and says to him, like, I don't like this guy. Let's get rid of him. I don't like him. Let's kick him off the movie. And he's like, well, Brando, Marlon, he just got here. Like we paid a lot of money to have him come do this. Like he's a big part of the show. He's like, I don't like him. We have to get rid of him, And anyway, so he did, and they kept him there. But he could always tell that Brando didn't like him. So they did another scene later. It was a big scene between just these two characters. And when they stop the scene and they're doing turnarounds where they're turning the camera around and get it from the other angle. Brando could barely move, so they brought him food or whatever wherever he stopped. So he just sat there, and because of all the makeup that Perlman had on, he couldn't really do anything either. So he's just sitting there waiting for them to do this. So they do the scene again, and then Brando looks at him. They've done scenes together for quite a while now, and Brando looks at him and goes, and he stares at the eyes of the character and he goes, "Are you playing this thing blind?" And he's like, "Yeah," and he goes, oh, he had no idea. So he had no idea the character was supposed to be blind. He didn't read it in the script because he never read the scripts. He just literally thought this guy was acting weird and didn't want to tell him why, and just shut him down the entire time. He said they got along okay-ish after that, but it was just like very strange that Brando had just like realized halfway through shooting that the character he was doing the scene with was supposed to be blind.
Yeah, it's Brando. On the score, he wouldn't even be on the set when Frank Oz was the director, was on the set. He kept calling him Miss Piggy whenever he was not in his presence. He's like, it just was like, like a lunatic at this point in his life.
Yeah, I don't think that was this movie. That was a different movie, wasn't it?
That was the score. Yeah, that was on the score.
Oh, it was the score. Sorry. All right.
It was around the same time. Like they were filmed maybe.
Well, if you want possibly the best Frank Oz performance, check out the movie Innocent Blood. It's a John Landis movie about a female vampire that only hunts bad people to eat them, but then one of her prey, a Italian mob boss played by Frank Loggia, survives and then starts turning all of his mafia dons into vampires, and then her and a cop have to I think Anthony DePaglia plays a cop, have to team up to stop them. It's really good. It's one of the best movies that no one's ever heard of. You should definitely check it out.
Sounds good. Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's called Innocent Blood. It'd be a great Halloween watch because it's centered around vampires.
I told Davan on Hold Up we have to do some vampire movies sometime. Maybe that's a good 100%.
One. I'll do that. Oh,
season 3.
Bring me on. Okay, I'll be on that episode and I'll bring that movie because it's one of the best. It's so good.
There you go.
If you need me to.
We'll have you and Dave both on that episode.
Vampires.
Perhaps you better take over from here.
And in true Davan fashion, he'll pick like the Fritz Lang or the original like Nosferatu Nosferatu silent black and white movie. Actually, would be a bad choice, but knowing your usual picks, would probably be that or the Werner Herzog version.
So many options.
Klaus. What was his name? Klaus
Kinski.
Yeah.
Oh, the original guy?
Yeah, yeah.
In the original Nosferatu, Max Schreck played him.
Yeah, Max Schreck. That's the name. Yeah. I'll bring the Willem Dafoe remake. It's a good movie too.
Well, that's not a remake. That's Shadow the Vampire,
I know,
which is a whole other thing.
Willem Dafoe's also in that. What's that other one? Daybreakers.
Oh, that is actually a very interesting
vampire movie too.
It's not bad. It's not great, but it was all right. It made enough interesting points to be enough to watch, but I don't know if I'd rewatch it.
Yeah, only once. It's like a one and done.
Yeah. I saw it at a film festival when it came out.
Good one.
Sweet
Tunes for the X-Goons going to be short and sweet. Go listen to the Isley Brothers. It'll make you feel good. I saw them live. They're amazing. Go listen to the Isley Brothers. All right, let's move on to our next segment. We don't even have to change it from the last time because we had X-Man Dan on last episode. So we can use the same segment and we can get some Dan time. Ooh. So Dan, being a nerd like we all are.
Nerd.
What nerdy shit do you blow your money on? We all have it. André, gremlins and shit.
This past Comic-Con, I bought so many vintage toys from like X-Men, the 90s Toy Biz run. My husband was going to kill me when I brought them all home. They were amazing. I love them all. I'm like, oh, they're so
That's fun. When you say they're Christmas presents for him. They're like, no, these are for you.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy to hear other people's like beleaguered partners that are also like just putting up with your nerdiness.
Yeah, we all have those.
Yeah, and like every time, I think a little part of my wife's soul died every time we were in Vancouver and I stopped to go to a record store. I'm like, well, just one more. I'll just go check out this one. She'd be like,
yeah, a bunch of toys. It was great. Yeah. I'm so happy to have gotten them. So that's me. So
is that the full set behind you?
No, this is the full set of the new ones.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
right, and the 6-inch set, and then the Eric and Julia Wald books.
Making
the 3 big ones. Yeah, the 3 big ones and the small ones without canvas.
The sacred tome, we call it on this show.
Yep. Yeah, I made sure I set it up behind me just specifically for this. So.
We have to like stare into space and say
good.
Like sacred.
They're good looking figures.
They are good looking. They're really, even the 6-inch figures are really good looking. I'm like pleased with them. So. Yeah, they're like over there. So yeah, I like them. Yeah, it was cool.
I couldn't bring myself to get into
me. I'm not going mad.
From the mind of Mater.
What's up, Dave? What's on your mind?
Oh man, I just
crashing the show. What's happening?
I was in the studio. I was just coming off the Big Brother podcast, I was like, I knew it was your last episode of like the proper, like the old cartoon. And I was like, they're on late. Wanted to pop in and say hello.
Very late.
Just wish you guys a great job. I guess not a wish; it's more a reality. Say you guys did a great job doing this show for all these episodes and getting through them all. I know I've done a bunch of these myself, and I know it's a commitment and great job all around, and all the great guests you guys have had in your run here.
More to come. More to come.
I feel like we're.
Do you agree with young Samuel that we should do a series retrospective?
Yeah, that would be a nice look in the whole podcast retrospective,
like in the MMS award ceremony style, perhaps.
Yeah, do you guys feel like you have been your view on the show has changed after having gone through this, and talked about all these episodes?
Well, like André even mentioned earlier, this episode, it's like season 5 is not as bad as everyone says it is. The animation does go flying off a cliff, but it's still fine. My
biggest takeaway would probably be that I in hindsight, being that I only saw scattered episodes of the show, I always thought it was sort of just like like for the time period, a pretty good superhero show, but all in all was fairly dismissible. But after watching it again, I've been like, well, there's a lot of really redeeming, cool stuff here, and I'm really happy to discover a lot of the really artistic merit the show had, not just being a comic thing, being a an actual show that had something to say. A lot of times, I mean, like everything, it has bad episodes and good episodes, but there are a lot of Davan usually keeps score of all the ratings. There are very few that fall beneath a 6 or 7, so which is pretty good. You can't really complain about it.
There's a couple of stinkers that we
for sure
particularly hard on, but not many.
But net positive sounds like, and just having that familiarity with every episode, I find that I really like when I finished the original series one we did, and we're almost done D Space Nine, but even having done 6 seasons of D Space Nine, I'm just like, I know that show now. I know, and Enterprise as well, which we're almost wrapped up on. So, it's a fun.
Well, look, it was a really good show, and X-Men 97 has its work cut out for us.
We're gonna have to
can't rest on its laurels.
We're gonna have to redo the logo to say X-rated 97 when that comes.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get a sick video opening. We're gonna step it up for that.
Jesus Christ!
I'm excited for that. It's been a long time coming.
Can we show footage from the show?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. Talk to Murphy. I task him with these things.
Murphman.
Yeah, Murphman.
Did we lose our guest? Did he go?
Well, he's turned off his camera.
Yeah, he turned off his camera. Can you hear us, Daniel?
He's also
if he can, he'll be.
Maybe
back.
Something's going on.
Well, look, there's been non-stop sirens. Oh, he's back.
Oh, yeah.
We worried the sirens were taking effect on you.
They took me over. I had to go to the bathroom. Sorry.
Oh, that's totally fine.
No worries. I always have to go to the bathroom while we're filming this, but I just wait and then run screaming to the bathroom afterwards.
Yeah, I used to do
that.
He's
like, hold the baby. I'm like, I can't hold the baby.
No time.
No time. No time for babies.
This is no time to talk about time.
I love that he it's almost like he just runs and pushes just face palms right out of the way.
Out of my way.
Well, you know what? There's one more thing we can do here.
Hey, look who I found coming to join the party.
Glad y'all decided to join the party.
We can party like it's apostrophe 97. Now, there's nothing new, I don't think, about the cartoon. But they have been saying that they're starting to look for a writer for the X-Men movie, whatever that's going to be.
What is that going to be?
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
I just hope they pick the right writer. That's all. Like someone very familiar with the material would be better than what's happened.
Yui Bowl, I think, would be the best choice. I'm kidding.
I think comic writers can write movies.
Many do.
They don't have to find some guy from Hollywood. That's
many novelists write a lot of the comic books.
NCIS or something. They're like, yeah, let's make him.
Those Daniel guys, they'd be good. I think.
Oh, they would be great. The Quants or the Daniels who did
the Daniels from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like Daniels, I could see
that would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
If they know X-Men.
I mean,
they might. You know, I wonder if he asked them, do you know anything about X-Men? If they said no, then maybe not. But
there are a lot of directors that I think are really cool that I'd like to see take a stab at it. Actually, one guy I'm a huge fan of is Jeremy Saulnier, and who did Green Room. Have you ever seen that movie? Patrick Stewart's in it. And Macon Blair, the guy that's doing the new Toxic Avenger movie, looks pretty cool too. So they would be neat. They have an interesting eye for that sort of stuff. I think would be cool.
I'm super interested about that Toxie movie. We'll see.
Oh, dude, I'm super pumped. The director and the writer is one of my favorite writers and directors. So I think it's gonna be fantastic.
Very good,
it's gonna be fun. Do you see the trailer?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was a big fan of the original. I had all the toys and everything.
And maybe we should do it. Well, I'm not going to give you an idea for a future rating podcast because you're just going to take it from me and go give it to somebody else.
Oh, Andre's a little sour about the gargoyles thing, Dave.
Why?
A little sour.
It was my idea to do it.
Idea.
And he's like, we're doing it now, whether you're ready or not. And I'm like, and he's like, too late. The time is now.
I was saving you an obligation.
Well, I shouldn't have said it in the first place. I would have done it. I was good and ready.
I think like the idea of calling it G-rated was funny to me after X.
No, that's fine. I think it's a great name, actually.
Yeah.
G-rated, the Gargoyles animated review show.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Daniel?
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of cool, actually. Sorry.
Well, it's timing that's the essence.
Sorry, Davin's dead to me now. Anyway.
God, you guys.
Sorry, Daniel. We can start. I can't wait to start the new X-rated 97 with Daniel Blanchard as my.
Oh my god! Yikes! not.
X-rated with André and Daniel and Ryan.
That's right. And then it'll just be Davin. Then we'll slowly start disappearing as Davin's killing us.
And then Dave and I will crash the podcast. We're like, you can't take this from us.
I think we
can all screaming,
we are the UFP.
Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully they get a good writer, good director.
Yeah.
You know, though the rumors that I like these rumors that they're going to kick it off without Wolverine is the perfect way to go.
Well, being they kicked it off before with him, it seems like a smart choice.
Well, they tried to kick it off without him in their little reboot with the
first class.
Yeah. But that
and then immediately felt bad and brought him back. And they made it all about him again in the next one.
Yeah, threw a cameo in. Yeah.
And even reference it. I always thought it was so funny in like the second one where he's the center point again and he has to go back and save them when Xavier's all like downtrodden and distraught and like giving up his dream at this point in his life. When Wolverine shows like, what did you say to me when we tried to approach you years ago? Fuck off. like the fact he even brought it back as like a thing. Like, that was so funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's one segment remaining.
And no homework.
All I need now is for you to contact your students, Professor.
Well, you guys have been such good students and you've done all of your homework for 5 solid seasons. How many episodes of the show are there in total? 90?
I don't know.
70?
70 something. Yes, what you said.
What 70? What I said? When I trailed off, that's what I said. I'm very quickly.
76 episodes.
Right,
76 episodes.
So you've watched all 76 episodes, and you guys so good. So you know what? No homework. You guys have been good. But I mean, just in retrospect, thanks for everything. It's been a great show. I know it's not over yet, and we'll be back. Davin, I guess, and I are still figuring out what the next step's going to be. We'll do the retrospective episode next.
I think we probably got an interview coming up next, as long as your schedule permits. There, Andre.
Is that the one, the same one I have, or is there another one? Oh, yes, I remember now. Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm back now, so
likely can't do Tuesday, so we got to figure something out. But
well, actually,
we got an interview.
After next week probably will be a week off anyway because I'm in a play. So it's production week. But after that, my schedule is more open because I don't have rehearsals on Mondays or Thursdays anymore. So then I can be wide open for that. So that's cool. That'll be a very fun interview. We're gonna do that. We'll do the retrospective episode, and then we're either gonna do the movies or X-Men Evolution or Wolverine and the X-Men.
Well, no, we're gonna come. Yeah, we're gonna do the movies, but
Movies
first we're gonna do that interview, and then we'll come back with Generation X with Jaemeel Robinson.
He's gonna watch it with us.
Oh, he's so excited to talk.
So we are gonna do the movies then. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So then,
starting with Generation X.
Yeah, so when we come,
starring Matt Frewer.
There's so much stuff to mine here. I'm glad we're doing this one just because I know it was supposed to be a backdoor pilot into a show that never got picked up, and I'm sure it's going to be atrocious. But I feel like it's going to be a fun time capsule of like that time period right around now in history where Blade was sort of doing well, and X-Men was. This was before the X-Men movie came out, right? Yeah.
So remember the Blade TV show?
I do, with Kirk Sticky Fingers Jones.
Yeah, even in the credits, Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers.
You know, like that time period where they kept throwing shit at the wall and trying to get something to stick, like with like the Lundgren Punisher movie and then the Captain America movie and all that sort of stuff. It's a real strange sort of time period of comic fandom because everyone was so hungry to get something. You know, to get something you love as a TV show, and at that point, this is all they're like. Look, we'll throw Generation X at you and see if that sticks.
Okay, that's not a New York stereotype. That's like the third or fourth cop during this podcast.
Well, in fact,
that's a lot of cops.
It is everywhere. It's somebody you can hear them better than I can because I'm like, there's cops in your I'm like, yeah.
Little known fact: Daniel lives in the murder capital of New York.
Yeah, he's like in the worst neighborhood.
Yeah,
I live in Chelsea. It's not the worst neighborhood. But like, a lot of cops driving by, so sorry about that.
Like, watch tomorrow. We'll find out like the worst, like you know, the worst event happened in New York last night, and we're just like
Daniel Blanchard has blah blah blah. Like, oh no, what happened? Poor guy.
This is in
As they call him, the slasher of Chelsea.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is in Chelsea slasher, deranged serial killer Daniel Blanchard. Cops descending on his house right now. They're like circling, like SWAT teams are circling. He's just like on a podcast.
We found it's like previously on X-Men had us just like on display. The Lee Walter kill me.
Each victim found with 6 stab wounds, strangely enough,
and a bunch of action figures.
Yeah, each victim found with an X slashed in their chest.
Well, on that note, you can support the show at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show, like Daniel does, like Ryan does, like MZ
thanks, Daniel. I'm glad you like the show, man. It means
like you guys.
And Jaemeel. And Jaemeel as well. We're up to 4.
Ooh. Jameel's back. I thought he was only on for a while.
No, Jaemeel never left.
Oh, good old Jaemeel. I'm looking forward to watching a terrible movie and talking about it with him.
Yeah. And you can contact us at xmenreviewshow@gmail.com. Follow us at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. And please like, review, subscribe to us, to our newsletter, which we don't have, but you know, if we ever have one,
it'll
be shortlisted. Yeah, and you can find us at ufpodcast.com, which we are a proud member of course, the United Federation of Podcasts. Hey, Dave, you're here. You want to do the rundown?
Sure. United Federation of Podcasts, featuring so many great podcasts from a lot of the same podcasters like Davan, myself, and many others like Davan and Murphy doing movie podcasts every second Wednesday in a theme. Now in season 2 of that show, we just did space movies. I was on there talking about Apollo 13 and Ad Astra and Outland.
Wow, you actually picked 3 good movies for a space, like decent.
Well, we had.
This is the first. This is the first like mixed, like properly mixed. I think space movie, the properly mixed movie selection you've had. I think.
Yeah, it was all. We all got along. We all agreed, and it was kind of like a good night, everybody. And it was.
Yeah.
I think you guys need that every once in a while. Otherwise, Davan and Murphy's going to kill each other.
Yeah, likely. It's almost happened a few times. And you know, while you're checking out our Patreon, you can get all this sweet merch. Check out all this sweet merch.
Where's my Magneto's right shirt, Dad? I'm still waiting.
I know. It's Christmas.
Eyebrows. Ooh, the eyebrows and then.
Yeah.
We got good eyebrows. Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah, I told you guys. Eyebrows.
That's from a Kirby. I think that was a Kirby inspired.
Looks Kirby.
Yeah. So Kirby did have some pretty intense eyebrow action.
Eyebrows.
Oh yeah, Super Maiden Brothers podcast we were on tonight.
We are brothers!
We are brothers! That clip gets a lot of play.
Yeah, we're on. We were talking Big Brother 25, and we're also talking Survivor 45 right now. And every now and then, the Mary Mater Marvel Society gets together and talks about the new MCU drop. I guess we got Loki next, or we have the Marvels. I'm not sure
Loki's next.
Yeah, so we'll talk about Loki next. So look out for that.
First 2 episodes were good.
Yeah,
I gotta catch up. I'm so far behind.
I'm into the show. Loki's one of the shows they're doing right in that franchise at the moment.
And the Mary Mater Marvel Society. That's right. And André, what's happening over on?
I have upcoming guest Stephen E. Grant coming on the show.
Gordon, you're never going to get this right.
You're right. I'm never going to get this right. Stephen E. Gordon. I also spelled
That's it. I'm doing the interview. For you, man. Stephen E. Gordon, who worked with Ralph Bakshi. He worked on Wolverine the X-Men. Or is it X-Men Evolution? Wolverine. Both, right. And a bunch of cool stuff. Very cool guy with quite a resume. So I was supposed to chat with him. It was supposed to be a new episode Monday, but something came up with him and he couldn't make the meeting before, and I had vacation, so I didn't have time to come up with someone else. But if you want to, just go listen to the previous episode in which I talked with Dave Mater. You got to reschedule on that Gordon one, though?
Yeah, I'm recording on Monday, so it'll be up for the following Monday.
Good.
And Lebowski says hi.
Hi, Lebowski.
Check out Live Long and Podcast, our Star Trek channel. All kinds of great Star Trek podcasts coming at you, like reviews of the newest episodes, like Lower Decks, but also some classic episodes. We're just finished up the Enterprise rewatch. We only got 3 episodes left, and we got Deep Space Nine on the horizon. We got to finish season 7 there. Also, the division doing like trivia, debates. Just did 2 episodes recently, and Locutors of Trek with David Pugsley talking.
Season 2 is coming up.
Do you guys break into song every time the Enterprise theme song comes on? Because I feel like that'd be hard not to do.
But one episode, Dave and I were fairly drunk, especially Dave, and we sang it.
I look forward to hearing that.
And Jody was losing his mind. Yeah.
I got
Jody
faith.
Was not happy.
Of the heart.
It was the Ryza episode too.
Yeah.
He
wasn't even gonna let it happen, but Kevin and Adam were like, "No, we want to hear this." He's like, "What?"
Yeah, that's one of the great moments.
I did get new electric guitars. You want me to back you up? I can do that.
Oh, great! Yeah,
I saw your Spider-Man electric. Freaking sick.
Cool.
We just did the Mirror Universe episodes, and that didn't have Faith of the Heart. That has like the other Mirror Universe intro for those 2 episodes.
Oh, really? That's sweet.
Yeah. So
is that the one with the Gorn in it? That one?
I remember it's got the Gorn. It's the
Gorn.
I remember catching that one on TV one time. I was just like flipping the channels and it was on, and I remember I was super excited there was a Gorn on it, and they actually made him scary. So now
there's xenomorphs.
Now there's xenomorphs. That's a whole
Gorn.
It's a whole discussion.
Yeah,
Gavin doesn't like it, and I'm
because they're xenomorphs.
What show are they xenomorphs on? Oh, this one,
Strange New
Worlds.
Oh,
like they lay eggs in you, and like they're xenomorphs.
Interesting.
Yeah. And there's also trivial debates.
Yep. New episode coming up. Horror themed episode.
Yep. Coming up next week. Had to postpone it. Had a bailer. We're back though next week. And then there'll be a Transformers one in November.
Oh, Davin's gonna explode.
Hey, it's mostly to do with the stuff before them. Jody's the host. He ain't gonna ask no movie questions.
And Eamon on track talking about the Dark Side of the Moon next with Uncle Gary on his podcast. And something with Black Sabbath on the horizon, and the Hellbound podcast.
If he ever schedules me on, we'll be listening to some jazz.
Yeah,
I keep getting bumped for like classic rock genericisms. And the
Hellbound podcast with Alex Blackburn, Michael Chan talking horror.
Yep, that's it. That's our United Federation. Anything you want to plug, Daniel?
I'm not a podcaster. I just like listening. So I haven't plug anything besides my own business in New York City, but that has nothing to do with podcasting. So thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, dude,
No
well, very
problem.
happy. Thanks so much for being on
Yeah,
and being a
thanks so much.
supporter and
Yeah.
liking the show,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
reminding us why we do this crazy thing.
Yeah.
Well, catch you next time.
Next time.
We are looking at the end of the world as we know it.
Or the end of the show.
Goodbye.